Boba Fett returns to our small screens this week with the Book of Boba Fett, the first of probably many spin-offs from the wildly successful Mandalorian series. Continuing to build on the post-credit sequence in the Season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, we catch up with everyone's favourite bounty hunter Boba Fett, who is sick of standing around looking cool, so he decides taking over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire on Tatooine sounds like a right good idea. Episode 1 of his solo show, titled Strangers in a Strange Land, picks up not long after we saw him comically fall into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi, getting a fantastic look at the gross insides of the beast and how Fett used his flamethrower to escape the creature. Of course, he's not out of the woods yet, since he's seriously injured thanks to the creature's stomach acids and he's stuck in the unrelenting deserts of Tatooine. On top of that, Jawa strip him of his protective armor and he is soon made a prisoner of a clan of Tusken Raiders, forced to walk to their camp where he is then left tied to a post in the baking hot Twin Suns. All of this, however, is Fett just reliving his past, as in the present, he is awakened from his back to treatment and his nightmares by Fennec Shand, who alerts him to his new duties as the hot new crime lord on Tatooine. Thanks to the way Jabba ran his businesses, Fett is up against many different customs, and if you have seen any of the many trailers or TV spots or ads online, he plans on ruling with respect, not like how Jabba ruled with fear. This of course makes many uncomfortable, and some, like the mayor of Mos Espa, not even think he's up for the task, since he wants to do everything so differently. It all comes to a head when Fett and Fennec are attacked in broad daylight in the middle of the city by crimson masked wearing assassins, who almost kill the crime lords had it not been for his trusty Gamorrean guards. From there, the rest of the episode reveals Fett's time as a Tusken slave and how he goes about winning the clan's respect and admiration by fighting giant sand monsters and helping out some of the Tusken children. I quite enjoyed this Lawrence of Arabia type bit throughout the episode, with Fett living amongst the sand people and trying to learn their ways and trying to figure them out. The comparison becomes even more apparent when one of the raiders obviously is a rival to him, much like Omar Sharif was to Peter O'Toole in Lawrence of Arabia. It's a dynamic I never really thought about for Fett, and one that I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of. Temuera Morrison returns as Boba Fett and is having a grand old time giving some actual character and life to what was essentially a cardboard cutout that looked very cool for many decades. He's got a real fantastic swagger to how he plays Fett, carrying him with a lot of confidence, but there is also a weariness to him, and his relationship with Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shand is great, with both playing really well off each other, and you get the sense that they have worked with each other before and they have this sort of long-lasting professional relationship. So they have developed this kind of professional shorthand in how they talk with each other, which is especially evident in the action sequences, with both relying on each other for team-up moves and supporting each other during gunfights and fistfights. The world building, while solely focused on Tatooine, was pretty fantastic, and I loved a look at a post-Jabba Tatooine and the underworld and how it seems to be flourishing in his demise. I also imagine with the Empire gone, it is a lot easier to run things like casinos as well, since there's not so many people trying to get their hands on the credits. Director Robert Rodriguez does a great job showing us these seldom seen places of the desert world, and Jon Favreau, who wrote the episode, explores more of the Tusken Raider culture that we saw him explore in seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, which was quite fun, and there's like a through line throughout these episodes, and he's kind of humanizing these people who before that we only saw as just barking savages. The monster Fett fights at the end of the episode was quite the surprise as well, and something I really wasn't expecting, and I loved how much it looked like a Ray Harryhausen creation. It even kind of moved like a stop motion creation. I know it wasn't, it was obviously a very CGI creature, but I like that they made it move like a Harryhausen creation, since it was something that I didn't expect and it was a joy to watch unfold. The episode wasn't as filled with fan servicey type stuff that I imagined it would be. There is still some, however. We get glimpses of stuff like Camino and Geonosis, and Max Rebo makes a brief appearance, but apart from that, it's left to its own story and doesn't get bogged down in member berries and having cameos left, right and center, but I imagine the show will ease into that as the season goes along. Ludwig Göransson, composer of The Mandalorian and Black Panther, returns for another banger of a soundtrack, this time adopting a more Maori-inspired, almost pirate motif for Fett, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It's so different from what we usually hear in Star Wars, and it's one of the things I've loved about the Disney era of Star Wars. They aren't afraid to try different types of music outside of the usual great John Williams stuff. The Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 was a satisfying way to begin the character's solo TV series, fleshing out the plot of a crime lord Boba Fett, setting up some of the series' overarching problems and villains for the hero to deal with, and giving him just enough fan service that it doesn't come across as forced. I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10.